Game code provided by Top Hat Studios. Thank you so much. Guys, do you remember me telling you how this year is the year of games that appeal to me specifically? I feel like such a gluttonous little piggy with all these games that just are absolutely right up my alley. It's no secret that Donkey Kong Bonanza has been the cream of the crop for me. I've been waiting for a new Donkey Kong game for a long time. And I'd say it's still planted pretty firmly as my favorite game of the year, but I will say, after playing through it, there was a part of me that was craving that kind of classic Donkey Kong Country challenge. Something that Bonanza didn't really give to us. Which is fine. Different kind of game. Focus more on sandbox exploration and destruction. It's fun. It's fine. What I didn't expect was to get that challenge from a little game called Windswept, a Donkey Kong Country inspired 2D platformer. Now, I've been aware of this game for a little while. I've been following the development of it. I even played the demo like maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that. And I don't know what it is about game demos that kind of unfortunately seem to like turn me off to a product. I wasn't immediately taken in by the demo for Windswept when I played it, but I knew better than to write it off because I've been through this exact same scenario with a couple of other games that I wasn't immediately on board with from the demo, but then ended up loving the final product, looking at like another Crab's Treasure. Okay, that's the main one that comes to mind. Wasn't super smitten by the Kirby Air Riders demo either. Oops. That's something you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow for. Didn't really love the Mina the Hollower demo either, but I've still got a good feeling about that one. And then, yeah, the same thing happened here with Windswept, but ended up really liking Windswept. It was good. It was a lot. I liked it. It was fun. Let me just put it this way. I mean, if you're like me and you're a big fan of Donkey Kong Country, it's an easy recommendation. Right from the get-go, I could immediately just see and feel the absolute love and inspiration for Donkey Kong Country on very clear display. More specifically, Donkey Kong Country 2, which, hey, I mean, that's my favorite Donkey Kong Country game, so they picked a good one. You play as a little turtle guy and a little duck guy. You're on a little adventure, and you can collect lots of fun little goodies and track down all sorts of well-hidden secrets and bonuses. The developers really did their homework, and they crafted a 2D platformer that I think is probably the best one that I've played this year. But with that being said, this game is also not for the faint of heart. When I tell you that it wears Donkey Kong Country as its inspiration on its sleeves, I mean it, because my god, Windswept is a hard game. Which is fine for me, because this is something I was hoping for, and honestly, like, craving after playing through Donkey Kong Bonanza. This is the perfect yang to Donkey Kong Bonanza's yin, you know? I'm just being honest with you guys here. Shit, man. Windswept will push your skills to their limits, especially if you're like me and you want to collect all the things, you want to see all the things and do all the things. Some of the secrets in this game are insanely well hidden, and some of the other ones, man, they really require some expert hand-eye coordination and dexterity to get everything that you need to get. Just in the spirit of transparency here, I'm almost 20 hours into the game. According to my Steam log, I've put almost 20 hours in. I'm pretty sure I'm basically at the very end. I think I only have maybe just a couple of levels. Probably, like, I could count them on one hand how many I have left. But oh my god, some of these levels are evil. Some of these levels were created by Satan. I don't know what you developers out there decided to shake hands with the devil and bring him on for some contract work, but it's time for you to go to church now. Wash that crud off your hands, man. A lot of these levels were difficult in a way that I enjoyed, in like a Donkey Kong Country kind of way, you know? Had a nice flow, a nice rhythm, not too shabby, I liked it. Other levels, I gotta, look, I'm just being honest. They bordered on frustrating, which I know is probably a pretty tough line to find a balance for when you're developing a game that's intended to be pretty difficult. You want to find that sweet spot between fun and frustrating. Give the players a sense of satisfaction from overcoming some of these hurdles, you know? But yeah, oh man, I don't know. There were definitely some instances that were testing my patience. I'll put it that way. I guess like the best way I could describe this game overall is that it is fun-strating. I've had a great time with Windswept for the bulk of it, but especially in the final leg of the journey, I'm getting to a point where I need to like push myself to want to jump on to play to try to collect all the rest of the things. I wouldn't be surprised if not a ton of people end up collecting everything this game has to offer, because it's brutal. I'm just being real with you. That being said, I definitely, I don't know, I gotta try. I gotta do this. I gotta do this for me. I wanted a tough Donkey Kong platformer, and I got it. Gotta push through. So yeah, okay, anyway. At the very least, this game takes a little bit of the heat off, because it does away with the lives system. So although there are plenty of sections throughout this game that could be difficult and at times a little bit frustrating, you at least don't gotta worry about getting a game over and erasing a ton of your progress. That is good. 2 thumbs up. Checkpoints can be sparing throughout the levels of this game, you know, requiring you to platform through some gauntlets. But again, it just makes either getting to that next checkpoint or reaching the end of the level that much more satisfying when you finally get that perfect run. All of the collectibles are put to good use in this game. You collect these little moon tokens that you get to spend for this moth fella that unlock super difficult levels. These are the ones that are crafted by Satan. This is where the contract work went for Satan in this game. You collect little cloud tokens. They come into play eventually in the game. Yeah, you find out a little bit later into your experience, but they're important to collect if you're a collectible person. And you can collect little stars that you can spend on figurines, just little dioramas of all the different characters that you've encountered throughout the game, the enemies, you know, all of that. The bosses, you know, I don't know what it is. Boss battles in 2D platformers don't usually tend to hit very hard. They're cute, but you know, you can dispose of them pretty quickly. They're ultimately fairly forgettable. Though I will say there is a boss that comes pretty late into the game that I think brings a lot of elements together in a fun way. No spoilers. I won't. No, none of that. Game has some fun music tracks. I swear I've had the title screen music stuck in my head for like days. That and The Simpsons. I started watching The Simpsons recently, and that theme song just it bops around in my head, and it's actually starting to drive me kind of insane. I really should have mentioned this earlier, but this is a pretty unscripted video. I'm just kind of rambling my thoughts out to you guys. There's a lot of great team play between Duck and Turtle. You can do the classic Donkey Kong Country, you know, tossing each other around kind of thing. But then, you know, the Duck's got a nice glide, which can help out with some tougher platforming sections. But then I actually found myself playing as the Turtle more often than anything. He's got this great, like, shell dash move that you can use in midair and just, like, cover some insane ground. If you bash into an enemy while you're spinning through the air, you get to jump out of it and continue your shell spin, too. So yeah, I definitely found the Turtle to be really useful here. On top of that, you have an assortment of animal buddies, which is it's wonderful. It's great. I love to see this kind of thing in these types of games. Quite a few of them have some very familiar mechanics if you're a fan of Donkey Kong Country. Crab Guy, you know, he's Squitter. Got the Bat, who is Squawks, and Dolphin on guard, you know. But I loved it, you know? It's familiar and cozy. I liked it. So yeah, Windswept. Absolutely a 2D platformer worth checking out, especially if you're looking for a good challenge. Even more so if you're a fan of the Donkey Kong Country games. It carries on the spirit of Donkey Kong Country with charming visuals and the signature challenge that you've come to expect from those kinds of games. A nice little soundtrack that complements the game's visuals, and yeah, you know, it's just a neat little package. Just prepare yourself, because yeah, it takes that Donkey Kong challenge and ramps it up to 11. I want to thank Top Hat Studios once again for hooking me up with an early copy. It's definitely satisfied that challenging itch I've been looking for. I think I'm ready to go into hibernation from anything super tough as nails for the rest of the year at this point. So how many of you guys out there are interested in Windswept? Are any of you going to be picking it up? Have any of you picked it up and played it already? I want to know what you think about the game. Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed this video, this rambly little video. I'm sorry it was so rambly. Very unorganized today. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.